Hello and welcome back to the Best of the Rest podcast. It's Sticks and Freezer. You like that, mate? That was my impersonation of the P1 podcast. How'd it go?
Was it?
Yeah.
I think they've got a bit more energy than what you do.
All right, I'll do it again. Welcome back to the Best of the Rest podcast. How's that?
Very good.
Better? Too much?
No, it was good.
Probably blew our listeners' ears out.
And welcome to the review of the first race of the 2025 season.
Whew.
Australia.
Feels good to say that, doesn't it?
Oh, mate.
How good was it?
It was bloody brilliant. It was good. It was good. Bit of rain, bit of interesting strategies, bit of teams where you're like, what the fuck are you actually trying to do here?
Some time in the race to process it all because you had how many laps under safety car?
Oh, yeah, that was a downer. Yeah.
Sort of needed it though. There was so much going on that you sort of needed just a few minutes to go, whoa,
yeah.
What did we just see?
A lot at the start. You know, you had Hadjar couldn't get his RB around the formation lap.
Old, what's Hamilton's old man's name?
I don't know.
I don't know either. But him consoling him in the pits.
Yeah. That was really nice, actually, because it didn't look like Hadjar was really getting much love. And for Hamilton's dad just to wander over and put a nice little arm around his shoulder and
good bloke,
reassure him and whatnot.
And then you've got Helmet's comments later on showing him no love at all. So it is good to see that, you know, someone...
Yeah, what was
stature.
it that he's almost like... It was a bit embarrassing, really, or something like that.
It's like that bloke's got... Yeah, his whole life has led up to this point of bloody debuting in a Formula One car, so it just means a lot to him.
Yeah, and he's like literally just a kid.
Yeah, so, what is he, 18, 19?
Yeah, he's young. Real
Crazy.
Young. Definitely under 20.
Before we get into a bit of a tangent, though, I guess we better congratulate old Lando Norris.
Lando! What a win.
Oh.
Brilliant drive.
I was hoping it was going to be the other McLaren, but still, like he just performed.
Yeah, I was gunning for Piastri. I thought he had him. He was bloody quick. He was chasing him down.
Arguably the fastest man on track.
Yeah, I'd say so. Till he spun.
And the team orders, you know, do not attack. I don't know what was going on there. If that's a taster of what the season's to come, then I'm going to be a bit annoyed.
They reckoned it was to do with the coming past the back markers, the two Haas cars and whatever else was there, that they just wanted to keep it simple to get past. But I don't know. I felt like there's a bit more to it. It seemed a little like it took a bit of time before they said, "Oh, yeah, you can race again." Just
let it play out. Like it's literally race one.
Yeah,
and there's no leader in the championship at this point. Like from here on out, you don't want to see Norris get the favour because he's leading the championship. Rah rah rah.
Yeah.
It's it's going to be interesting, but yeah, overall, insane race.
Yeah. No, it was insane. Just crashes, spin-offs, rookies, and also, you know, the most veteran driver on the grid, Alonso, also dropped a wheel in the gravel and ended up in the wall.
Then you got Hamilton and his engineer having interesting conversation. Leclerc and his engineer.
Yeah.
What was the phrasing Leclerc said? Add that to the words of wisdom.
Yeah, because what was he said? He asked if there was a leak because there was a lot of like water around his seat.
Yeah, pretty much saying his ass is wet, I think.
Yeah, and then the engineer said something like, "Must be the water."
Yeah, must be the water then. Add that to the words of wisdom.
Yeah.
It's almost like Leclerc's conscious of the memes that go around about Ferrari.
Oh, it'd have to be.
Which
Surely.
is so funny. And just to see Lewis as well, sort of in and amongst that Ferrari shenanigan. He's so used to Mercedes and their surgical communication, precision, strategy. Get into Ferrari and it's a little bit...
Yeah. Yeah, you had to tell him to leave him to it quite a few times.
That was sort of funny.
Yeah, and that's only what we saw over the broadcast. So, yeah, we don't actually know how much they were in his ear, but obviously must have been quite a bit because I haven't heard him have to say that to Bono.
So good.
I reckon he'll be wishing that he took Bono with him, I think.
I'm surprised that move didn't happen, but I did hear that Bono got a promotion, so that probably kept him at Mercedes.
Yeah.
Mercedes probably wanted to keep him, so it's like, how do we do this? We'll give him a promotion. I guess we should just quickly run through the podium so people know who were the place finishes and who got on pole and all that sort of fun stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
So we had Norris on pole, Piastri second, and they were miles in front of everyone else at the end of quali.
Yeah, they made Verstappen look slow in P3,
and they both were quite reserved on their final fast lap because they'd screwed up their banker.
Yeah.
So they probably had more in them, tenth or two.
Yeah, they were trying to put a nice banker in, and I think Norris went off for track limits and Piastri had a little moment, so neither of them got a good lap in.
Yeah, no, they both went overly quick.
No.
So on the podium, we had Russell third, Verstappen clutch with a second. I know it doesn't sound overly impressive considering what he's done in the last few years, but and Norris obviously for the win, but Verstappen finishing second is crazy impressive because he outdrove that car massively on the weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, he took it to places that it probably didn't really belong.
Not that you can use Lawson as the benchmark of what that car's capable of because he's also getting used to it, but he was consistently 1.2 seconds thereabouts off max all weekend.
Yeah, Lawson had a real tough weekend, just couldn't seem to get to grips with the car in the dry or the wet. Quali struggled a bit and had some kind of leakage that he had to go back into the pits and sit out for a while in I think
F3.
Yeah, one of the late practice sessions. So coming into quali, he didn't really have as many laps under the belt as he would have liked, and couldn't string it together out in Q1.
Yeah, you could see it. It was. I think he really wanted that solid FP3 session, and then he got 2 laps in, and then technical issue keeps him out of practice, and then you going straight into quali, unknown conditions for the day.
Yeah,
and you could see the pressure was getting to him, and I think it was his last lap before the end of Q1.
Yeah,
and he went off like twice in like 2 corners.
Yeah, he struggled.
And it's like, oh mate,
yeah,
the ass kicked out on him, and then he ended up in the grass, and you're like, oh. You can see he's just really pushing that car, overdriving it to try and get somewhere. And I mean, you're in that Red Bull family. The pressure builds quick. How long are they going to stay patient with you? Not saying that that's the way it's going to go, but if you get another 5 or 6 races in and he's just been so far off the pace, you know how ruthless they are or can be.
Yeah, well, it's going to be interesting now. Like, how do they start to look at things? Are they going to be ruthless? Are they going to give him more time? Do they, Red Bull, start to think, maybe our car is hard to drive and, it's almost set up only for Max Verstappen?
I have heard a bit of chatter about that.
Yeah.
And it's a good point. I don't know how hard it would be to sort of tailor a car to Max's liking, but then also make some tweaks to make it more drivable for that second bloke.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's possible or not, but clearly you've had talent in that second seat and all of them have struggled.
Yeah, well, there's been no one else that's been able to drive the car since Ricciardo. So what was that, 2018, 2017, something around there?
And was that car fully set up for Max at that point?
Yeah.
Probably not, maybe. Like, you're probably still doing it. They started to favour Max, but it probably was a little bit, okay, what do both drivers want?
Probably still kind of even, and then, just a general quick car kind of thing. And then after that, they've started, seems like, to tailor it towards Max, and then there just hasn't been anyone that they've put in the seat that can handle the car, or they haven't given them enough time.
It's a scary proposition being in that second seat, and you feel for Lawson, but we'll see. I think they still have a lot of confidence in him, and I think he doesn't lack confidence in himself, which is a big thing.
Yeah,
you wouldn't want to be deflated after that first weekend and let that carry on. You want to just, on to the next race and see what he can do. So China coming up is going to be very interesting to follow Lawson and see how that goes.
Yeah, well, he's going to need to put some solid sessions together and get a couple of points on the board.
Yeah, and go from there. Right, what else in the race stood out to you, Freezer? What did you love to see?
The other Q1 exit that surprised me a bit was Antonelli, but then he managed to put her up to P4 in the race.
Obliterated his floor in qualifying, apparently.
Yeah,
losing like 7/10 down each straight.
Yeah, hit a curb way too hard and had half his floor hanging off. Looked like someone was trying to run a grinder down the middle of the straights.
It was cooked, wasn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, then to get it up to P4 at the end of the race, there was he was meant to have a 5-second penalty for some kind of pit infringement, but they reversed that after the race anyway, so he still finished P4. So valiant effort for the young 18-year-old.
Unbelievable. And closing in on George too. Like George is how many years in the Formula One now?
Oh shit, he's been there a while. 6,
7, something like that.
Yeah.
And it would have been interesting if there was more laps to come, whether Antonelli would close on Russell. I don't feel like Antonelli is a guy that's going to go, oh, you don't want me to overtake. Okay, I'll just drive slowly behind now.
Yeah.
I think he only knows one speed.
Yeah, it seems like that. He seems very much like a driver that's just full tilt no matter what. But yeah, a few more laps in the race would have been interesting, but there's always if, buts and maybes.
Okay, I want to be selfish right now and just take the floor for a second if you don't mind.
By all means.
I had a very emotional roller coaster throughout the Grand Prix.
Yep.
Been a Williams man this year. I had high hopes, and then Sainz cooks it into the wall under safety car, and I was up off the couch carrying on something shocking. Couldn't believe it. And I don't want to admit this, but I think a lot of people probably would have thought that. First instincts when I saw Williams in the wall was like, oh, fuck, Albon's punted into the wall.
Fucking Sargent's back.
Oh. Yeah, getting flashbacks.
Yeah, PTSD.
And then, saw that old Sainz binned it, and I'm like, oh, shit, here we go.
Yeah.
But as the race went on, I started coming out of that dip, getting more and more hyped, trying to put a lid on it because Albon was 5th for most of the race.
Yeah, I think he was around 5th, 6th maybe a lot of the race.
Around that. And then Williams nailed the pit stop.
Yeah.
Perfect time for him to come in and then comes home with 5th on the road, but then it was 4th for a bit because the Antonelli penalty then got reversed. So you end up being 5th, which is insane.
Yeah, great result from Albon and the Williams team.
So stoked. And it's probably not even that bold of a call at this point, but I feel like there's a podium on the cards. If things go right for Williams this year, they could actually end up on a podium. They seem to have that sort of pace.
Yeah, and I don't think it was just a wet race playing into their hands kind of thing because they were quick in the practice sessions, like themselves and RB, which we'll probably touch on a bit later. They were quick in practice and obviously quick in quali to get themselves up there. And then Albon especially just had a fantastic race and it wasn't one that just played into his hands because he was there the whole time.
Yeah.
It wasn't, he's come through from 12th and a few cars have DNF'd and, something's worked out for the pit strategy. Like they were just on it from lap 1.
And also don't forget, held off Hamilton for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And probably Hamilton would have had better pace than Albon if he could get past, but Albon's defense just held up and Hamilton couldn't do it. Like Leclerc sort of skipped off down the road a little bit.
Yep.
But Hamilton couldn't get past him. And that's insane. You think to be driving in those crazy wet conditions where people are binning it for no reason other than it's insanely difficult to keep the car on the track. So not only to be keeping up with people but dealing with the pressure of Hamilton behind you, there's a lot going on there.
Yeah.
And he held up to it.
Literally fighting Ferraris and, the best drivers in the world and some of maybe the greatest drivers of all time kind of thing in and around his part of the racetrack as well to keep his nerve. And because I think it was when he was in the Red Bull with Verstappen, Hamilton ran up his arse essentially and sent him off the track when he was on track for a win or a high podium finish. So, essentially that could have been going through his mind, Hamilton's coming up behind me again. But no, kept it cool and amazing drive. And for me, that's why I'd put him driver of the day.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. Unbelievable performance. I mean, there was so much that went on this race that even that's sort of been a little bit overshadowed by other bits and pieces that have gone on, but incredible.
Yeah.
Great way for Williams to start the season. Well, one side of the garage, rough, but then the other side, they would have been elated with that.
Yeah, still plenty of positives to take away for Williams. Obviously quite upsetting with Sainz, but yeah, I mean, I've always kind of rated Albon quite highly, so I'm excited that Williams might start to have a decent car underneath of him and underneath Sainz that, like you mentioned earlier, maybe it is on the cards that they start pulling a few podiums.
Another sneaky driver in the top 10 that I want to mention.
Yeah.
Hulkenberg.
Yeah, how did he get there?
7th.
What a bloody ripper drive.
Didn't even see him.
No, just went about his business and pulled her up.
Honestly, didn't even see him in the broadcast. They barely even mentioned him. There was a little bit of a clusterfuck towards the end of the race with pit stops and teams probably not pitting and trying to hold out. But Hulk delivers. I don't know how many points Sauber scored last year, but it wasn't many.
He's got more than what they got last year.
In the one race.
Yeah. I think they only got
That's amazing.
4 or something as a whole team.
Wow. Yeah, because Bottas went pointless for the year, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's insane. Good on you, Hulk. Well done.
Oh, bloody ripper.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, no, he's done well. He did get out-qualified by Bortoleto, but he's held on to it, and Bortoleto had a little moment and, couldn't get the car re-going or whatever happened there. I think he just got beached off in the grass. But
I think he obliterated his front wing too.
Did he? Yeah.
But yes, he didn't finish the race. Still looks super impressive.
Yeah.
I was very impressed with Bortoleto.
Yeah, because I'd heard a bit of hype, he's won the past couple of championships, F3 and F2, but I hadn't really seen too much. So I was kind of intrigued on how good he was going to be, but yeah, I think he could have a good set of hands on him, and it'll be interesting to see if he can get the car to show what he can do.
Yeah, very much so. All right, time to rip the Band-Aid off and talk about it. Piastri.
Oh. Nightmares. I just pretty much sat in the shower and just stared into space, just
contemplating life.
Yeah.
And why? Why does this Australian curse exist?
Haven't had a replay just continuously going through my head.
Just, and of course, it just had to be the time in the broadcast where we're on board with Piastri. You look in the distance, you see Norris going off, and then before you know it, Piastri's off even a little bit deeper, and then that's it. Spins as he comes back on, beaches it in the grass, manages to get it going again, but man, it was devastating.
That there is why I love Piastri. He spun off. I was looking at that going, nah, he's beached, he's gone. Done. But he, tried forward, couldn't get much. Tried reverse, was getting a little bit, and he literally just crawled it out of there. He just kept crawling, just inch by inch. Got it back on the track, got a massive cheer by the crowd. That was great to see. And then ends up getting back in the points.
Which is underrated.
Yeah, you got no idea what this season could do. Those couple of points could literally make all the difference, whether it's constructors or individual. Max Verstappen not crashed out. He had the brake duct issues last year. So he DNF'd and then goes on to win the championship. So, it's early days. It's first race of the season. I know Australia wasn't first race last year, but, just in terms of how drivers are performing. There's also a little... there's the Aussie curse. I'm not sure if you've seen this, but there's another little curse as such that they've shown. And since like 2022, the driver that wins that year DNFs the next year. So 22, Charles won, and he DNF'd 23.
At the Australian Grand Prix?
Yeah. And then 23...
Science won last year, didn't he?
Yeah, so 23 must have been Verstappen win, and Charles DNF'd, and then
so on and so forth.
24 Verstappen DNF'd and Sainz won, and 25 Norris won and Sainz DNF'd.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't hear about that one, no.
No, I saw that the other day pop up and thought, oh, that's fucking interesting.
Stay tuned for next year.
Yeah.
But yeah, those 2 points that Piastri managed to snatch up could be invaluable. But I don't know, maybe I'm not seeing the right things, but he's overtaken Hamilton is just not being spoken about. And that was God tier.
That was unreal. But no one cared because it was like last lap or second last lap.
You just don't overtake through there. And that was sort of Verstappen level ruthlessness.
Yeah.
So no, I'm creating that gap and, you know, good luck.
Just hanging it around the outside in the wet after he'd already slid off earlier and just, like, obviously not the same part of the track, but, you know, to have that confidence. And that's what kind of devastated me a bit with where he did go off, is he essentially followed Norris. So Norris goes off and they take, you know, the same line through the grass. Norris re-enters on the track, has a little wiggle, off he goes. Piastri re-enters and slides completely off the other side and almost beaches himself. So it was like...
Bit unlucky.
Yeah, just unfortunate. I think Piastri said that a bit in his interview, like, you know, it was unfortunate that he got stuck where he did, but also he was the one that put himself in that position.
I think he summed it up perfectly when he said, I drove a great race for 56 3/4 of a lap or whatever it was. Yeah. It was just that one mistake that let him down. Yeah. But that's racing. One mistake like that and that's it, you're done.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you never know what's around the corner in racing.
Another Red Bull driver I just want to mention.
Yes.
Tsunoda. Wow. Yuki was on one this weekend.
Absolutely wow.
Qualified 5th, held it there for majority of the race, and then fucking RB screw him over on the strategy.
I don't know what the hell they did there. That was just fucking ridiculous.
I don't even know exactly how they screwed him over. I think they left him out there for too long on the slicks before coming back to the inters to finish the race. So he ended up finishing outside the points when he realistically should have had double figures after the first race.
Yeah, well, he was looking like a 5th, I think, most of the race. He was like around the same spot as Albon. I think he was ahead of Albon most of the race, wasn't he? Or just behind?
Yeah, he was. He was in front of Albon for most of the race.
Yeah. So to go from, you know, Albon tossing between 4th and 5th with Antonelli and his penalty, but, you know, you got Lance Stroll in 6th, just behind Albon. So that essentially should have been where Tsunoda was. But that was another interesting drive. I was touching him quickly because I know you won't want to talk about it, but Stroll getting himself
Stroll
up into 6th. Another one that you didn't really see much of, but I've got to give credit where credit's due, and that was a good drive by Stroll.
This is incredibly difficult for me to say. I'm feeling sick. Well done, Stroll. This doesn't feel right.
I could hear that burn.
Oh, man.
Like reflux.
But credit where credit's due. He did a good job. Considering Alonso binned it, he kept it on the track, brought some points home for the team.
There's also a Sauber right behind him, so maybe he didn't.
Look, it can start off. This is it. It's the top of the mountain. The rest of the season, Stroll, she's going to be a steep decline. But that first race, well done. Nice work. No,
good job. But yeah, Tsunoda, little bloody pocket rocket. Oh, fuck, I love him. But just so unlucky. Just should have had high points finish, but just, yeah, always seems to be something with the poor little fella.
Yeah, I wouldn't be impressed if I was him. The team screwed him over big time there. I guess we should also touch on the rookie carnage for the weekend.
Yeah.
That was sort of briefly mentioned with a few drivers, but it was wild.
Yeah, so what, 4 out of the 6 didn't finish? Because you only had Behrman and Antonelli that brought it home.
Yeah. And I guess, Behrman was a lap down, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I think in the end.
Yeah. After how he went with practices and quali, I wasn't sure he was going to make it home in the wet, but...
I don't know about you, but I felt so bad for him.
Yeah, yeah.
Binned it in FP1 and the car was too broken for FP2 and then comes out in FP3, second lap, I think.
Yeah, I think he'd literally only done an out lap and he was halfway through his push and just...
backed her into the fucking wall again.
Yeah, dropped the wheel on the grass and arse end into the wall. That was it. And because of the way that Albert Park's laid out, they couldn't get the pits to get him out again. Because they've said with like other proper racetracks and circuits where there's service roads and stuff all around that in because what was that? That was FP3, wasn't it? Yeah, in practice sessions, you can still, if you can get the car back to the pits, you can go again. It's only competitive sessions like qualies and races that you can't.
Yeah, right. So you got a little bit unlucky there.
Yeah, but then when he got to quali, because he had no running and stacked it a couple of times, he had gearbox issues and couldn't grab fourth gear, so no time set for poor little Behrman.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, so there was just literally a string of... He couldn't have started the weekend any worse.
Yeah. And he only had the one wet session in an F1 car before, which was Brazil, where he couldn't keep the car on the track. They showed that a bit in Drive to Survive, and they showed Komatsu coming up to him afterwards and being like, oh, that's not good enough, blah, blah, blah. I know that was probably edited a bit and hyped up, but yeah, I was a bit nervous for young Ollie.
Hopefully he can go a little bit better in China and get off on the right foot and build from there. Time will tell. Ferrari up to their old tricks.
I don't know what they did there because they were another one where...
Just K1, try it, mate.
Fucking hell. How about that?
No, just do it.
Hamilton's
just
race engineer just in his ear all day and just saying, oh yeah, just try K1 for practice, the overtake button. And it's like, yeah, Hamilton was like, leave me to it. Like, I know how to press a fucking button on the steering wheel.
And then it was 2 laps later, he cuts back over the broadcast. Yes, K1, just try it on this straight.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not close enough. I'm not going to try it.
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
Yeah, I'm not going to benefit anything. It's like, I don't know. It was just weird.
Frustrating listening to it at home. So imagine driving a Formula 1 car and having to listen to that shit.
I know, they're going to have their teething issues and work out how each other likes information and whatnot. But yeah, it's kind of a bit embarrassing on Ferrari's behalf.
And then they make that weird call towards the end of the race where they were leading, I think, 1-2 or 2-3.
Yeah, they were right up there. I think Hamilton was leading.
Yeah, he was actually. That's right.
Leclerc must have been second or maybe third. But I'm pretty sure he's second.
And you're thinking, wow.
Yeah, I was like, look out. We're on for one here. And then all of a sudden what did they do? They left him out for too long, didn't they?
They left him out for a couple laps while everyone else pitted and they were still on slicks.
Yeah, and everyone else made up so much time on the inters that by the time they pitted and came back out, they were like fucking 9th and 10th or something.
I think they boxed under safety car. They led under safety car for a couple laps and then went, oh, no, we got to come in for inters.
Oh.
And then they come back out 9th and 10th.
Fuck.
I don't get... I mean... Obviously, we're just sitting there watching at home, but why could you not go a split strategy with that and risk it with one of them if you know that you're probably only risking 1 point? Leave Hamilton out in the race lead, box Leclerc.
Yeah.
Maybe Hamilton might have not being able to keep it on track. But if the conditions dried up and all of a sudden he could have been on for a podium or a race win, or could have been insane.
When they were looking like they were a bit kind of off it, they should have been trying something to try and see if they could pull off an alternate strategy to put one of them up there. But
honeymoon phase for Hamilton is over. Welcome to the team in red, mate. That's what you got to deal with.
Yeah.
Just a shit show.
He'll be stoked.
Strategy, what is strategy? We just sort of vibe it out over here, whatever. Oh, yeah, that seems like. Yeah, nah, we'll do that. Box. No, stay out.
Yeah. We are checking.
It's blowing smoke. I can't go any. We are checking. Yeah. Don't worry. Stay out.
Must be the water.
Oh, it's iconic. I did want to have a whinge about one thing.
Of course.
Just one.
Right.
Because I can't have a crack at Stroll this week.
Yeah.
And Sargent's not in the sport anymore.
Yeah. And Ocon couldn't do much with the car anyway.
Yeah. I'll leave him alone this week.
Yeah.
Now, this one's a bit different than having a crack at a driver. I don't get why they stayed out under safety car when they were recovering cars from the track, crash vehicles. Like there were 2 cars being recovered at one point, Dillon and I believe Sainz's car. They had flatbed trucks out on the track. Drivers were dropping it, going slowly. Sainz under the safety car. Dillon was racing but straight line and kicked it into the wall.
Yeah.
It just feels very unsafe.
Yeah, well, I don't remember what exactly that they changed, but I didn't think that they were allowed to do that anymore after the fatality that they had in 2014. I think it was 2014.
Yeah, Jules Bianchi.
Yeah. Because that was, a similar thing. It was one of those trucks or the JCB hired thing that was picking up a car and he went into the back of. So I thought that if anything like that was out on track, that cars weren't even allowed to go around, like it couldn't be yellow flags. So it just confused me because they were like only a couple of meters away as well.
Yeah, at one point in the track, like it was almost a car's width to get past the truck, and there was marshals. I remember because I think there's 1 or 2 marshals standing at the back of the flatbed truck with the cars approaching from the rear of the truck.
Yeah,
and you could just see if one of them happened to lose it, it'd be disaster. That marshal would be lucky to survive.
That was the other thing as well. Like the marshals were between the race car and the truck. They weren't protected by the truck at all or anything else or a barrier.
It just seemed very amateurish. Like it could have easily injured someone or taken a life if things had gone wrong.
Yeah. It was like a bloody local go-kart race where someone spun out and the attendants just walking across the middle of the track and spinning them around. Like
it just seemed so, yeah. I mean, you're looking at drivers that are spinning out because it's like driving on ice out there.
Yeah.
That's just not a good mix.
No,
I wouldn't want to be a marshal on track.
Yeah, literally. And it was a lot of the crashes actually happened under safety car or formation lap kind of thing. Like they were just cruising around, getting a bit of a feel for their car, and they'd either get a power surge like Sainz and Dillon have claimed, or just literally hit a white line or put a little bit too much power down, and that's it.
It'd be interesting to see what the drivers thought about that when they were driving past the trucks and the marshals, whether they were even more cautious, knowing the conditions, whether they're almost sort of idling past and just going, yeah, okay, this is a bit...
Yeah, like I know the safety car slowed them right down, but then what was the other weird thing? There's a corner that they were approaching behind the safety car, and I think it was like the flatbed truck or something was coming across. So the safety car...
yeah, that hairpin.
The safety car cut the corner to, kind of avoid it all.
Yeah.
But whoever was behind...
Norris. I remember this because the truck was
They
going
just
through
kind of kept their normal line, and, that just looked real sketchy.
Is it 10-11 or that high-speed hairpin sort of section, that S section?
Yeah.
The truck was on the outside of the corner. the safety car cut it, but obviously Norris didn't want to go through there and risk a puncture or there's a lot of standing water.
Yeah.
So we just sort of, cut up the inside of the truck on the racing line. It just seemed so wrong. You're like, what is going on here?
Yeah. No, it's just a lot of moments like that, which, I hate to bring up and bring to attention because it's our home race, but safety's paramount. Like that,
do better.
That needs to be better.
It's ridiculous. Like we love watching the racing, but if something horrible was to happen, that'd just put a sour note on the whole event.
And it seemed to take a long time to clear the cars anyway. Like it's not like they were ducking out there with a flatbed and a high-ab or whatever to load a car on, and they're out of there in a lap or whatever. It was like 3-4 laps, and they'd still be fucking around.
Well, I heard, I think they said in the broadcast something about this being a street circuit, so they don't have the space to have cranes set up around the track. 'Cause you know how some tracks there'll be a crash and literally nothing comes on the track, and a crane comes out of it above, the marshals hook it up and the car gets lifted and dropped, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I think they should, I don't know, I'm sure they could make that work.
Oh, surely you could hire a few fucking temporary cranes.
Well, you'd look at the data on where the most crashes have happened over the last 10, 15 years and go, okay, well, one in this area because there's a better chance that there's going to be, a few shunts here.
Well, I don't know what the weight limits are for the F1 cars to what they'd weigh, but it'd be like under 800 kilos, surely.
Yeah, just get 2 strong blokes out there.
Yeah. Or you.
Yeah, I could do it.
Yeah.
Give me $20.
It's not the only thing you'll do for $20.
Damn right.
Oh, that's terrible. Right.
I guess we should add up some points from our predictions going into this race.
Yeah, let's see how shit we did.
I think it wasn't happy hunting, that's for sure.
No, I definitely didn't have a good day out.
Well, I know that I only scored a single point because I picked old Doohan to be a DNF risk, and we know what happened there.
Yep.
But apart from that, no good.
Well, I had Antonelli for the DNF risk, which he had a bit of a spin there, so I thought I might have been on, but...
He had a go at it.
Yeah, he teased me, but no, he decided to go up and get some good points instead.
Yeah, right. So to start the season, I'm on 1, you're on Donut.
I'm a donut.
You have to tune into our preview of the Chinese Grand Prix to see what our predictions are and whether old Freeze can get himself off the donut.
Yeah.
Get a couple points lined up, mate.
Well, as my quick little run through for what I fucked up. Pole, I had Piastri.
Norris got pole,
so I got nothing there. Third, I had Leclerc. Second, Norris. First, Piastri, which none of them are correct.
Wrong.
Russell, Verstappen, Norris. And left to field, went for Piastri to be first Australian to win. That did not happen. DNF, I said Antonelli, didn't happen. Safety cars, I said 2, which I thought I might have been on for. Even after the race, I thought, hang on, I think there might have only been 2 and they're probably counting the Hadjar one, but no, I did some research. Apparently it's definitely 3, so nothing there.
So no luck there.
No luck for me.
Yeah, well, I had Leclerc for pole, so that was, the Ferraris looked like they were driving around with a bloody parachute in the back of the car. Ball squeak in the barrel.
got stuck.
Yeah, I had safety cars 1, which was, that was better. DNF risk doing,
Ding. Ding.
Nice. And I went for double left of field. I had double Williams points, which was looking all right for a bit, but then Sainz into the wall. And Hamilton to out-qualify Leclerc. Delusional. Yeah, righto. Well, time to box.
Nice.
Wrap up this pod.
Nice.
We've waffled on enough.
Yep. No, you're right. Time to retire today's episode. Thanks for joining us. If you've enjoyed the show, hit like or follow and share it with another F1 fan. Jesus Christ. Catch you later.
Catch ya.
Look at this. This is not a dog. This is a piece of shit.